And if it comes to the second one, assimilated food is used as
Material
for the growth and as well as repair of the body. These are the two uses of assimilated food. One is to get energy for life process, and second one is to get, means in the sense of used as a raw material or material for the growth and repair of the body parts. So now, as we know, yesterday we have discussed, this food is the fuel for energy production in cells. So how it will be produced and all we have studied in the yesterday. So as we know that the process of this releasing energy from food is only which to called as what? Respiration. Understand how much? So this respiration, how this respiration is taking place? How this respiration is taking place? So the food, whatever it is assimilated, is reacting with the what? Is reacting with the what? Oxygen. Understand? Which is used to give a byproducts of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. So this is what we used to get the byproducts. So this is only called as respiration reaction. Yes or no? This is what we have studied in the yesterday's class. Yes. So now let us come to here. Today we will continue from here. So as we know that the process of respiration, which will release energy, takes place inside the cell of the body. Inside the cell of the body. So if we consider the cell, as we have discussed in yesterday, so one food is from body, assimilated food will come. Understanding? One is from oxygen, from air. Food means glucose. So this is food. Food in the sense of glucose. So next here what? Oxygen. So oxygen from air entering into the body cell, so that they will release the byproducts called as, what is that? CO2 and water, as well as they will release the
energy.
Energy. So this is what we have studied. Energy. Understand? So here one byproduct is good, which will be helpful. Understand? Beneficial for the body. But another byproduct which is releasing in this process is carbon dioxide. If it is stored inside, understand, it will lead to the harmful to the organism. So that only it needs to send outside. Understanding? Instead of benefiting to the body, it is causing damage, harmfulness. So that we have to send it outside. So if we consider this respiration process, this respiration is very essential for life, because it is only provides energy for carrying out all the life process which are necessary to keep organism alive. So if an organism wants to alive, it needs to carry out some life process. So for this, all the life process, they is to gain the energy from this respiration reaction. So this is all about what is respiration. So now, as we know that we always use the two words called as breathing and respiration. Now, in today's class, we are going to start with that only. What is the meaning of breathing and what is the meaning of respiration? What is the difference between breathing and respiration? We will see now. So all of you keep heading breathing and respiration. Breathing and respiration. Breathing and respiration. Now, so let us see. Shall we start? Breathing and respiration. If it comes to here, breathing and respiration. As we know that the mechanism by which organisms obtain from air, just you remember. So how they are getting the oxygen from air. Understand? And by releasing carbon dioxide, that is only called as breathing. So if it comes to the breathing and respiration. So now just let us come to the first breathing. So what is the meaning of breathing means? It is just, understand, a simple mechanism. It is just a simple mechanism by which how an organism is taking oxygen, obtaining oxygen from the air, and instead of taking oxygen, also it is releasing out the carbon dioxide. That process is called as, understand, breathing. Intake, understand, intake of oxygen, and what is doing it is releasing intake of oxygen and releasing what? Releasing carbon dioxide. That is only known as breathing. Understand? So
No, but in respiration also the same thing happens, no, sir.
what am I?
Sir, in respiration also the same thing happens, no, sir.
Respiration. Respiration not. Now I will say you will listen. Understand? So now,
Okay.
in breathing, if you will observe, only just oxygen will go inside, and after the respiration, carbon dioxide will release. That carbon dioxide will come out, and the middle some chemical process will take place. Now here breathing, if you will observe, nothing we are doing, just sending the oxygen and again releasing the carbon dioxide. We are not involving in any kind of chemical process which is called as oxidation of food. Understand? So means in the sense of no chemical reaction is involving. Now let us see. So breathing means in the sense of, let me just imagine only intake of oxygen. Forget about the release of carbon dioxide. Now, if this intake of oxygen will go and will entering into the cell, so as well as the digested food, assimilated food will also entering into the cell. Now what will happen here? The respiration process will begin. So means in the sense of what? It is a very, very complex process because so many reactions will be involved. So it is a complex process and it is even a chemical process because respiration includes breathing, because breathing means in the sense of what? Intake of oxygen. One of the steps in respiration is breathing, as well as the main thing is oxidation of food cells. That is what in the sense of oxidation of food will be taking place. Oxidation of food means in the sense of assimilated food in the cells of the organism to release energy. So that is the reason why we should call them as complex process, as well as it is the chemical process. It is the chemical process. So why, sir, you are using oxidation? Can you able to say why it is oxidation? We are adding what? We are adding what? Food. Food is adding with the what? Food
Oxygen.
Is oxygen. So addition of oxygen, what we should call?
Oxidation.
What we should call? Oxidation. Do you understand? So that is why this is called as oxidation. Understanding? So breathing is also one of the steps in this respiration, as well as oxidation of food will take place to release energy. That is what our main aim. So along with that, byproducts. What is the byproducts? CO2 and H2O will come. So this H2O will be useful for our body, but this CO2 is harmful, so that it needs to send outside. So that again what? That breathing process only, it will be carried out, that carbon dioxide releasing in this respiration process. Understand? So here if you observe, this breathing is a just physical process. Means in a sense of sending the oxygen, again releasing the carbon dioxide. Sending the oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide. There is no kind of any reaction is involved here. Understand? So that is why breathing means in the sense of what we should call. It is the physical process. Understand? So breathing is a just physical process, but if it comes to the respiration, what is happening? Addition of oxygen is taking place and they're releasing the new products. Means in the sense of, what is that? It is what? Which process it is?
Chemical process.
Chemical process. And also not even chemical process. It is a what? It is happening in living organisms. So that is why we can call them as biochemical. What we should call? Biochemical. Understanding? Biochemical process of oxidation of food. That is what we should call. Oxidation of food we used to call this. Do you understand? So here if you observe, the process of breathing of understanding, the process of breathing involves the lungs of the organism. Like that, it will involve the respiration. Respiration also involves along with the lungs, because in lung respiration, what is the first step? Intake of oxygen is the first step. So that is why, along with the lungs in the respiration, it will also involve the mitochondria in the cells. You may notice it. Last year you have studied the cells, plant cells and animal cells. So the cells of the body contains mitochondria. Do you remember mitochondria? Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Till now you have studied cells are releasing energy. In the cells also, a particular part name called as what? Mitochondria. The cells where the food is completely oxidized to release energy. Understanding? So this cell, if you take, inside we have a mitochondria. Mitochondria in the sense of it will be shaped like this. Is it yes or no? Yes or no? So mitochondria
Yes, sir.
like this shape. You have noticed last year you also did. Now this year also will study. So this is what the mitochondria which are present inside the cell. So this respiration process, before we studied that, it is taking place in cell. But in cell also, who is that? Inside. Who is this?
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria. Understand? So that is the difference between respiration and as well as breathing. Do you understand, Ashika?
Yes, sir.
Understand? So if you take this breathing is just what? Lungs are involved and only sending of oxygen inside and sending of carbon dioxide outside. Now if it comes to this respiration, as we know that, it is a biochemical process which occurs in different stages and requires many enzymes in it. Understand? So there also directly energy is not releasing. It will be carried out by different kind of stages and as well as many energy. Again, the enzymes also involved in this process. So now we will see what is that enzymes releasing, what is that enzymes involving, and what is the stages are taking place. So now if we take here, what is the main purpose of respiration? Anybody? What is the main purpose of respiration?
To release energies.
So to release energy, to make our body alive, means in the sense of to make it a process of life process as well as to grow as well as. What is the second use of releasing energy? One is life process. Next one?
For growth and repair of the body.
Repairing of body cells. Now if we take, the main purpose of this respiration is the release of energy. Release of energy from the oxidation of simple food molecules like glucose. That is what we used to call as respiration. Means a digested food which is assimilated in the sense of what? It is simple food only. So from the simple food molecules, we used to get the energy by the process of oxidation. So that is only called as respiration. So if you observe here, the energy released during this respiration is only used for carrying out all the biological functions, understanding, which are necessary to maintain of life and as well as survival of organism. So here if you take, respiration is just, understand, observe very carefully, one more reaction which will take place in the plants. What is that reaction? Can you able to say? What is that reaction? Can you able to say? What reaction is just opposite to the respiration? If you'll observe the raw materials, you can understand it. I have taught you that also. If you'll observe the respiration is just opposite to some reaction. Can you able to say? Which will take
Photosynthesis.
Respiration is just opposite to another reaction.
Photosynthesis, sir.
Photosynthesis.
Can you able to say? Respiration, what is the raw materials? Respiration, what is the raw material?
Oxygen and glucose.
But there, what is the raw materials? Water.
Carbon dioxide, water.
Carbon dioxide and water, they will produce glucose plus
Glucose
oxygen.
and oxygen.
Respiration is just opposite process of what? Just opposite process of
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
understand? Because photosynthesis, they will make food. Understand? They will make food by using carbon dioxide and water. Understanding? Under the sunlight and releasing oxygen. While if you take respiration, respiration breaks food. Here makes food. Photosynthesis will makes food, but if you take the respiration, it will breaks food. Understand? It will break food by using oxygen, and they will releasing what? They will releasing what?
Glucose and oxygen.
Carbon dioxide and water. Along with that, energy will come. I'm asking respiration, Ashika. Carbon dioxide, water, and energy will release. So that is why
Okay.
this is just opposite to the photosynthesis process we used to call it as. Understanding, Amma? So now, this is all about what is breathing and what is respiration. You understand or not? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right, all of you. 2 points, you just write the 2 points, later we can go for it. Good morning, all of you, those who joined late and all. Everybody, still so many is absent. Okay. Jesse is not at join. Pranita is there. Pranita, may I call to Jesse? Arya is okay, he is not feeling well. Arya and Prasini, remaining all. And one more, three got, but 3 more need to join. Dina is absent, Pranav is absent. Okay, right, breathing. First you write breathing and respiration. Have you kept the heading? Nitish Kumar is there. Yalni. Dilipan, you can, somebody call to Pranav and Dina. Pranav and Dina. Girls, anybody absent to Jesse? Make a call for them. Right. The mechanism by which organisms obtain oxygen from the air and release carbon dioxide is called breathing. Is called breathing. Breathing is a physical process. Next point. Just breathing is a physical process. That's all.
Sir, can you say again? First one, sir.
The mechanism by which organism obtain oxygen from the air and release carbon dioxide. Padmavarshini also absent. Somebody, Padmavarshini is there? Yeah, okay. Is there?
Sir, I am there. Sir.
Yeah, okay, Padmavarshini. She did not attend. Okay, Pranita, she will join, I think. Okay, you write, you follow your things. Akshaya, good morning. Anusri also. Right. Carbon dioxide is called breathing. Breathing is a physical process. Like that, you can write respiration. Respiration includes breathing. Respiration includes breathing as well as the oxidation of food in the cells of the organism. So cells means inside the what bracket you should write. In which part? Which part inside the cell?
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
That is what you should write. Again, I cannot say one more statement. Bracket you can write mitochondria so that you can understand that inside the cell. So where this process is carried out, mitochondria. We will study the structure of mitochondria, how it will take place, everything again. Understand?
Can you say again?
What, Kevin? Okay. Respiration includes breathing. Respiration includes breathing. Respiration includes breathing. Respiration includes breathing, as well as the oxidation of food. The oxidation of food. The oxidation of food in the cells of the organism. In the cells of the organism. In the cells of the organism. To release energy. To release energy. To release energy. Respiration is a biochemical process. It is a biochemical process. You just keep it. It is a biochemical process. Biochemical process. So now, as we know that, so during this respiration, energy will release, and this energy is stored in the form of something yesterday I have told you. What is that? This energy, whatever it is released in this respiration process,
ATP, sir.
it is stored in the form of
ATP molecules.
ATP.
ATP molecules.
Adenosine.
Adenosine triphosphate.
Adenosine triphosphate.
Now, whenever I am running now, or else I am lifting the body, lifting some weight, or else something I am doing action. So that how this energy will release from this ATP, we need to study now. Because as we have studied the energy releasing, we know that from that energy is converting into ATP molecules and it is stored inside the cell. So now, as we know that this ATP, understand how it will release the energy when it is required. That is what we are going to study now. So now, the next concept which we are going to study is how energy released during respiration is stored. Please keep reading. How energy released during respiration is stored. During respiration is stored. So the stored energy, what we used to call? Stored energy, what we should call? We should call as what? Padmavarshini, I will teach you everything. Don't worry. That process and all will come in the next. Okay. Understand, Padmavarshini? I will teach you. Don't worry. So now you carry on. So now if you observe here, now we'll study how energy is released during this respiration is stored. We will study now. So as we know that whatever the energy is released during the respiration is not used immediately by the organism. That is what we know that, even including the plants as well as animals. If we take both, understanding, plants, they will do both the process, not only the photosynthesis, they will also carry out further sustainability. They also will carry out what? Respiration also. Plants also will do the respiration and as well as photosynthesis. Understand? So if you take here, whatever the energy is released during this respiration, it is not immediately used by the organism. Definitely it will be stored. Understand? So by the both plants as well as animals, any kind of living organism. Now, this energy produced during this respiration is stored in the form of, as we know, what is in the form of it is ATP. Understand? ATP molecule in the cell of the body. Where it will store? Inside the cell. Understand? Cell of the body only it will be stored. So now from there it is used by the organism as when it is required. Understand? So now if you want to understand that how this ATP is releasing energy when it is needed or when it is required, so before that we should know the meaning of two things. One is ATP and another one is called as ADP. So as we have already studied about ATP, now we should know what is the another term called as ADP. So ATP means what we should know? What we should know ATP means?
Adenosine triphosphate.
Adenosine
Triphosphate.
triphosphate. So now if it comes to the ADP, can you say what is the ADP?
Adenosine diphosphate.
That's nothing is there. Adenosine. All of you write the full forms of this. Adenosine diphosphate. It will come what I will say you. Adenosine diphosphate. Right. Adenosine triphosphate, adenosine triphosphate. Is it okay, na? Now, if it comes to here, this ADP, if we'll take ADP, which we used to call as adenosine diphosphate. Understand? These molecules of ADP are present in a cell. Understand? But this ADP is having these ADP, sir, what is the difference between ADP and ATP means? This ADP has low energy content. That is the difference. Low energy content. This ADP has low energy content. As well as if we take ATP. So what is ATP, Ra? ATP means what? Adenosine triphosphate, which has high energy content. That is the difference between them. High energy content. Please note it down. High energy content. Both are present in where? Inside the cell only. Do you understand, Amma? Both are present inside the cell, but one is low energy content, another one is high energy content. Now, if you'll understand this, now we'll go for the energy releasing from this ATP and ADP and all. And you have to, one more thing you should remember. This ATP, which is, understand, inorganic phosphates. Both are, ATP and ADP are the inorganic phosphates. Understand? They are present in the cells. Understanding? That is what you should remember first. What is this phosphates? Inorganic phosphates. So these inorganic phosphates are also present in cell. So these inorganic phosphates are represented by just writing phosphate. So I don't need to write, understand, inorganic phosphates. These both are inorganic substances. Inorganic substances, but I can write just by representing the phosphates. Phosphates, I can represent this both. Means in the sense of they are inorganic substances only. So if we take here, understand, so the inorganic phosphates can also be, we can represent it with the PI. All of you should remember. This is the symbol of inorganic phosphates. PI. P stands for phosphate and I for what? I for what?
Inorganic.
Inorganic.
Inorganic. That is what. So inorganic phosphates also is to represent with the PI. This is a symbolic notation. You should remember it. Understand? So now you take here ADP. ADP means what? Adenosine diphosphate. ATP means what? Adenosine triphosphate. So if you say here, adenosine diphosphate means it contains two phosphate groups, diphosphate, as well as if you take adenosine triphosphate, so it contains what? Three phosphate groups in its molecule. That is what you should remember. So it contains two phosphate, understand, molecules, two phosphate group in its molecules. If it contains three phosphate, understanding, Amma? Three phosphate groups in its molecules. In its molecules. Please note it down. This is all very important. Then only we can go for releasing energy. Understand, Amma? This all you should note it. Low energy content, high energy content. Next, 2 phosphate group, understanding groups are present in its molecule, 3 phosphate groups are present in its molecule, as well as these both are inorganic substances. So we should represent with a PI. P indicates phosphate group, I indicates inorganic. All of you should represent. Do it fast. Once it is over, you can tell me. Dina, call to Pranav. Why Pranav is absent? Is it completed? Is it completed?
Yes, sir.
Others? Now, shall you go for the first process? First process, releasing energy from ATP. Understand? ADP, not ATP. So first ADP, lower energy cells. Later ATP, higher energy cells. Understand? So if it comes to the first process, the energy released during respiration is used to make ATP molecules from ADP and inorganic phosphates. So now how it will happen, so we'll see. Understand? So if we'll take the first process, when the energy is released during this respiration, first they will make ADP, not ATP directly. First ADP will release, then this ADP, if we'll add again the phosphate, then it will be turned into, understanding, ATP. So that is what we'll see how it will be happening. So if we take here, understanding the first process, the first chemical process, ADP, understand, low energy cells, low energy. If we add again the phosphate group, because it is triphosphate, correct? So phosphate as well as little bit energy, if we use little bit energy, again from which process? From respiration only. From respiration, don't write now. I will say you the first few matters and later on. From respiration, it will be turned into a substance called as ATP. This is what the process of ATP, high energy. Do you understand, Amma? All of you, do you understand or not?
Yes, sir.
So ADP will be produced first. This ADP, again addition of phosphate plus addition of more energy will be turned into ATP. Now, whenever the cells, now ATP, the energy is stored in the form of ATP. Now finally, so now my cells required energy now. What will happen again? Again this ATP, understanding, broken down using water to release energy whenever it is required. So that is what step 2 process. Understand? So now, if we take ATP with the help of water, which is present in our body, again it will be releasing into ADP plus phosphate plus water plus energy.
Energy.
For what? What purpose? For using by whom? For using cells. Understand? So that is the use of this. Do you understand, Amma? How it will be happening? Yes or no? So ATP is converting into ATP and ATP again converting into ADP and also as well as is releasing the energy which is required, understanding, which is used in the body cells. So now, if you'll observe here, the energy almost which is released in this process.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Your voice is breaking, sir.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Okay. Internet problem. You just be stagnant. It will be okay. Now, can you able to hear? Hello. Can you able to hear?
No, sir, your video is not visible, sir.
Okay. Wait. I will make it.
Continuously
I will make it. You just wait. Now, can you able to hear me? Hello. Can you able to hear me? Hello. Can you hear me? Please respond, yeah. Can you hear me or not? Hello? Nobody is responding. Can you hear me? Yalini, Padmarshi?